So welcome to this panel discussion about self-custody. It's going to be about self-custody in the large range. It's not going to be a very specific, hardware or just software. We're just going to cover everything related to self-custody. Hopefully, there'll be some interesting stuff for everyone. And at the end, I'll also take some questions from the public because I don't want you to, fall asleep or anything. So yeah, if you have questions, keep them for the end, and I'll be, assigning them to the speaker or the panelist. So yeah, welcome. I'm gonna start by leaving you, introducing yourself, and if you can just quick 30 seconds about what do you do for self-custody, but not more than 30 seconds, right? So who you are, who you work with, and what your company does around self-custody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsey Grossman, and I'm the business lead of BitKey. That's Block's self-custody Bitcoin wallet. We're a 2 of 3 model, so 2 keys are in the customer's hands, 1 in the mobile app, 1 in the hardware device, and there's a 3rd key on Block's backend to help you with recovery and to co-sign with mobile-only transactions. But we only have 1 key. The 2 hands are in customers, so we cannot move your money without you. We are, right now, I'll just say one thing, some exciting news I want to announce right off the bat is that next month, we will be taking signups for our external beta. So go to bitkey.build to be the first to sign up.
Hi, I'm NVK, founder of Coinkite. I make the cold card, top signer, block locks, and we've been working on Bitcoin custody since the beginning.
Hey everyone, I'm Pascal Gauthier, I'm CEO at Ledger. You might know that Ledger is a security company. We have 2 arms of our business. There's a consumer business with our hardware wallets, the Nano S, S Plus, and X. And there is the enterprise side of our business where we also service with self-custody technology, large enterprises.
I'm Adam Lowe. We make a hardware wallet in the form of a smart card. So there you have full self-custody. Similar to Ledger, we have a B2B side of the business and a parent company. So if you have a metal card in your wallet, it is very, very likely we made it because we make almost everyone on the planet.
All right. Thank you. So basically, that was the moment for marketing and presenting the products. And now we're just going straight into the hard questions. So I hope everyone enjoys. Let's start with self-custody. What does it mean? Where are we right now? So quick question is, where do you think do you have numbers on how many people you think are actually doing self-custody of their coins? I don't know if anyone has some ideas of that.
5-10 million people.
5-10 million?
I mean, on Bitcoin. The crypto market might be a bit bigger, but Bitcoin, let's say about 5-10 mil. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think this is the number, but it is to compare to the also number of people that are in crypto. That's more around 400 million. So actually, self-custody is really a subset of the market today, and is very small compared to people that actually own coins but delegate to an exchange.
Cool.
Quick question. How many people here have a hardware wallet and self-custody their funds? Jesus Christ. Okay, so literally everyone here have done their seed work. We can close the panel.
Right.
The audience is a little biased. This is not every conference.
It's amazing.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So then, yeah, if everyone has self-custody, great. So everyone's happy with their devices and the user experience and everything? Okay.
I have something to say.
You can boo now.
So someone's doing something wrong on the panel there, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. What about the tooling then? What do you think could be improved from the self-custody perspective?
Maybe I'll start there. So super exciting that everyone raised their hand, that they're self-custody users here, but majority of the world has coins on exchanges, and we started BitKey to get the coins off of exchanges. And so we asked ourselves, how can we do that? The first thing is user experience. Today, we believe that self-custody is very difficult to access for a broader public. Things like seed phrases are complicated and they're imperfect. They're oftentimes not stored properly. We think also the reason we invested in 2 out of 3 model was to give you true ownership, but also be resilient for when life happens. You lose your phone, you lose the hardware, or even when you lose both, you still have a path to get back to your money. So we need to build better user experiences that are also secure.
I think like the trade-offs are going to start to split as the market is growing. Getting a little echo. You're going to start seeing people coming into this space trying to find a solution that may have more trade-offs, more points of failure, especially when it comes to government seizure and things like that. But it will be, say, easier to recover, like BitKey or Ledger. But I also think that you're going to have this evolve into having a lot of these people learn how to do the self-custody with these features that have more trade-off and then eventually arrive at back to the seed, because seeds are superpower, right? It's vendor agnostic, and you can recover anytime in any hardware, and I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, we have a similar model in the sense that we always have their customers keep their master seeds, right? They can always recover anytime, anywhere. And private keys on device stay private and are not extractable.
And on this topic, actually, what do you think, Adam, actually, if you want to start, on the risk and compromises? Can you explain a little bit to the public, where does the compromise lie if you have self-custody, at least with the tools we have today?
Yeah, so there's a couple compromises, right? You can push your seed phrase to the cloud on some platforms. We don't do that. I don't personally recommend that, but that's a choice. You could then otherwise take your keys and push the keys or the seed encrypted into the cloud, potentially sharded. That's also a choice. We don't make that choice, but I'm not saying it's invalid. What's really important is to understand that the whole point of self-custody, in my opinion, is to maintain control of your funds, where no government can get access to them, no individual can get access to them, and that you have control of all of your coins in perpetuity. And you need to understand that you need to be on a secure device with secure hardware that keeps you safe in a way that you can understand. And we often make this proposition that it has to be either safe or it has to be hard. And it is like our hard mission to make sure that it's incredibly easy to use, yet incredibly safe.
Anyone else want to add something on the risk and compromises?
Yeah, so there is also the part of trust, right? Trust is never going away. So I think it's important for hardware manufacturers to sort of be very blunt and honest about those trade-offs. Our marketing departments are not going to like it, but you have to essentially tell the user, right? So, for example, is the source verifiable, right? Can you see the code, rebuild the code, and get to the same answer? So if your product can do that, like Code Card, great, that's the product we have, right? Maybe you are state certified, right, with like some security certification, but the source is closed, right? So what is the attack surface of that, and who can get to your funds if there is a concern with that? And it's a very hard discussion to have with users because it's not simple. These problems are hard. The technology is very complicated. And I think we can do a better job at essentially trying to get this message out so that consumers can make informed decisions.
Maybe I'll follow up on both of those points. One is on choice and the trade-offs, and the other one is on transparency. So with choice and the trade-offs, I think it's really important that the people like us who are building these products explain exactly how it works and to give choice in the hands of customers. So for example, when you use our product, one of the first questions we ask you is how much power do you want to give to the key in your phone, and how much power do you want to give to the key that's in your hand in the hardware device? That's what we call mobile spending limits. That's a trade-off. Explain how it works. Tell customers the environment, that how we'll communicate with them in case that one of their keys has gone missing. So Those things are really important, and to empower people to make those decisions and to communicate with them in a way that's easy to understand. And the other one is on transparency. We said from the very beginning when Jack announced this project was that we were going to be open source. And that went into all of the decisions that we made, for example, picking a secure MCU so that we could show the world exactly how the product works.
All right. So what I hear is mainly, different features, security, safety features on the wallets you have. I have a kind of related questions that I think is not easy to answer, and maybe the public would be interested about this one, especially if everyone is saying they are doing self-custody. Do you think 100% of the people should be in self-custody? And maybe also, should these people put 100% of their Bitcoin in self-custody?
Okay, maybe I take this one. I think related to your first question and this one, I think what we are trying to do at Ledger, we're trying to imagine what the future is going to be and how you're going to use your coins. We don't think that this market grows if the only use case for a hardware wallet is, buy and hold. It is definitely a use case, but if you cannot connect your wallet and your most secure place to the rest of your crypto experience, this is not going very far. And what we see that is coming, because we always talk about Bitcoin and, of course, payment, stuff that has value, but there are many other assets that are becoming digital and that we can own. And where we see all these technologies going is sort of everything from, your money all the way to your digital identity, everything that you can tokenize and, under your control and that you can share. And so we are trying to solve several issues at the same time. The security is a given, at Ledger. We don't compromise on security. It's impossible. We have 6 million devices out there that are being battle tested every day. If we compromise only once on security, the company is gone. So security is a must. But usability is the name of the game. If tomorrow with your hardware wallet you can only do send and receive Bitcoin, it's okay, it's secure, but the usability is very poor. And in order to get the people that are already in this business in self-custody, and the new people that will be coming in this crypto world in self-custody, which I think is the future and is very important for the people, for us, for humanity. I think you need to develop experiences that are much richer than what we have today.
So I have a slightly different view of this, because there is not enough UTXOs in the world, so not enough Bitcoin units in the world for every single person in the world, right? So not everybody will have base layer real Bitcoin. And the people who do will have that with a much higher economical value, right? So each of those transactions are going to be very expensive. That means we would be scaling with Lightning or eCash and things like that. So people will make the trade-offs and compromise on security on their phones to have those essential, cheaper tokens, right? So the Lightning units or the eCash units, and that's how they'll make payments. But the real economically heavy Bitcoin will be likely self-custodied and stored outside of the internet, just because I don't think you can scale those Bitcoin units directly to payments.
Great. And so for the transactional part, what you're saying is that we're probably going to go through different layers or completely different models, like typically custodial, maybe eCash, things like that.
Yeah, the cool thing is these other layers have different sets of trade-offs, right? Yeah. They're not offering you, for example, a promise on inflation, right? Because somebody controls the eCash mint. So, but you can still use that, and it's a much better trade-off than IOUs or essentially full custodial or fake Bitcoin on Coinbase for your payments.
Cool.
Maybe
yeah.
just to respond, you asked, should everyone self-custody? I want to say something about the exchanges. As I mentioned before, our #1 customers, first and foremost, are for building the people who've never used self-custody before. And we do believe that exchanges have a purpose. They are a great place to buy and sell Bitcoin and to convert between fiat and Bitcoin. They need to exist. We want them to be healthy, but we don't believe that exchanges are a great place to store and to own and to truly manage your Bitcoin in the right way. And so we've talked publicly already on our blog about how we look to work with partners in this space and to give clear price transparency so customers go in with open eyes, and to have a secure integration so that you don't have to copy and paste each and every time, and that we make this journey to get off the exchange so much easier by building that transfer use case in the product directly.
All right, so we're back to trust at some point in the future, or some compromise around trust, maybe, just because of some limitations that Bitcoin has and probably will always have. So yeah, where are we standing on trust? Adam, do you want to give your opinion on where trust should stop and where it's acceptable, maybe with exchanges or Bitcoin banks as part of maybe a multi-sig model or anything? Do you have any opinion on where is trust acceptable and when it's not?
Yeah, I think at some base hardware level, a reasonable layer of trust is acceptable, right? So, there's roughly 15 to 20 billion smart cards on the planet, as an example, right? And people trust the secure elements, the chips in those every day because they go through literally years of vetting. So I think, that's acceptable. I think where I think about trust is always key-based, right? So if it's deterministic and people understand that mechanism and it's open and you can verify the checksum, that's kind of my level of trust.
So what's scary about smart cards is that we have had things like Gemalto and some pretty absurd state attacks on these things. And my fear is not that you're gonna just have, say, Canada turn off all the smart cards. That's not how it works. They're just gonna do selective enforcement. It's like, hey, turn off this guy, turn off that guy, take that guy's money.
That's not how it works.
Well, that was Gemalto's leaking the keys.
So that's not how it works. So for people in the industry, right, I've been in this industry a long time. Basically, every smart card on the planet works on some flavor of Java. So you can get, it's called Java Card. It's a slimmed down version of Java. There's many, many distributions of Java. There are no single master keys. Gemalto, for the people not in the room, Gemalto, known Thales, is a major plastic card manufacturer. Idemi is the other major card plastic manufacturer. They're all French. They can't turn them off. There's no single distribution of Java Card. That's not how that works.
They did have backdoors on them.
What?
They did have backdoors on them. That was literally the scandal. But listen, the point is not that it's possible, right? So what we want to do is just trust minimize these things. So for example, if you have a closed source solution, right, you add another hardware in the mix, or you add another key in the mix, so that you're not simply trusting that one point of failure, that one single vendor.
No,
but you need to have a minimum of trust in the world. Trustless is a very powerful concept, but there are not many people in this room that can explain exactly how the Bitcoin network works. They can actually go in the code to verify that it does what it does. And so all of this is still based on human trust, because there are enough people that are in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been running for so long. This is what creates trust around the Bitcoin network, that it's secure and that it's safe to transact on it. So there is always an element of trust that you're going to have based on the different information that you can gather. So we are going as trustless as possible, but as you can see, the evolutions of decentralization, the web started decentralized and then got very centralized. We are starting we started very centralized, and now we're trying to decentralize a little bit, but it's a difficult job.
Well, I think this is really why open source matters, and not just releasing the code, which we will absolutely do, so you can prove it, but we're going to also send it to our competitors and have them try to break it, and have them try to highlight gaps, so that we can not only prove to the world how it works, but we can also make a safer environment too. So we believe that open source is also good for security.
Right, and so yeah, trust is also, it's a scale. There is no trust. It's just we can decentralize trust. You are not going to review the entire Bitcoin code base by yourself, even though it's completely open source. You're not going to review the hardware you're putting your even open source firmware on. Like each person is not going to buy an electron microscope to check that the chip they are actually using hasn't been compromised during the shipping, right? You always have a layer of trust somewhere. And yeah, there is no silver bullet. It's just trying to open as much as we can. So other people are going to do the verification, and hopefully we can trust or delegate trust to the people.
That's the beauty, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you can do multi-sig between multi-vendors, right? You don't have to trust a single vendor. I mean, we're all like decent companies here. Nobody's trying to do anything evil, but like, shit happens. So, it's important that we do de-risk each signer. And there is better tech coming on the pipeline, right, for Bitcoin as well. That's going to do multi-sig much better. But we're not quite there yet. So right now, the best thing you can do is de-risk each key.
Right. OK, so can we quickly cover these kind of different models where we can mix manufacturers or mix solution providers, software, hardware, multi-sig, cosigners? Do you guys have an opinion on that, like what's acceptable, what's not, and maybe where does self-custody end? And I'm actually going to switch this question a little bit to address a topic that probably people want to hear about, which is about the ledger drama this week, right? So when you start having safety features like we can now upload an encrypted private key to the cloud, to different providers, so there is no single provider that can access your key, steal your coin, but still it's there and it's possible, right, with law enforcement or things like that. Is this still self-custody, right? And where does the line stop into where we're OK with giving access to your key or part of your key to other people? Pascal, if you want to take this.
Sure. So we believe that as long as you're the only one that can access your private keys back, you're in self-custody. We also see now in the market that there are many attempts to do, there is a shade of gray between custody and self-custody. So there are attempts that I would say are in the middle. And typically ledger recovery is part of these attempts. Like, this is not the same. This is the same security from a device perspective, but it adds another layer of complexity. It is something that I remind everyone that is completely optional, that doesn't trigger itself. Only you are in control of triggering options in your devices. But if you decide to do so, it's peace of mind, but it comes with certain consequences.
Yeah, I mean, for people that don't understand, like you have this shards, right, of Shamir's secret, and they have 3 different providers. Each one of them holds one shard. The concern is, this is like sort of, very remote concern, is that, they could collude and constitute the key again and spend your funds. But that's also how they manage to offer you this recovery service that if you lose your keys, they can essentially make it back for you. I think with enough education, and there is a market for that, for sure. I think there's going to be people who will make those trade-offs. But, that is the concern. I personally don't think that that's self-custody because they have access to the keys, but it is optional.
Yeah, it is optional, and we understand the concern, but I always take the same example of when the Loaec came out in 2018. He had Bluetooth, which was a new feature compared to the Nano S that we had previously, and we had a big backslash at the time also on the Bluetooth, and people were concerned that the Bluetooth would add a new attack vector. We are 5 years after. The Bluetooth of Ledger has never been hacked. He has never given access to any kind of funds or any kind of seed extraction. So the thing with security, and especially at the forefront of security like we all are, is that we're all trying to do something very different. And we're still in the infancy of this game. And so, and it's really the first time that you have B2C companies that are security companies. If you think about it, there aren't many. Like to develop those kind of like secure hardware, it's It's something that is very new, and of course it's new because it comes with Bitcoin, it comes with the fact that you can be sovereign, et cetera, et cetera. So we all have to do our best to build the best possible experience, because we talk too much about technology, and 99.9% of the people on the planet don't understand. And so but they want something that is easy to use. They want an experience where they understand what's going on and they understand the benefit for them. And right now, crypto is in a moment where it's still very much in the past, and it's a real developer world, and so that's great, and that's what has made Bitcoin so successful. But now we have to go into more of a product world. Like, how do we productize? How do we make it so easy to use that you don't need to go through what were we discussing just before we came on stage, with the derivation pass and all the things that are just too hard to understand. So our job for us is now to dumb it down and to get the next 100 million people joining this space to come through self-custody first and not second like they did in the past.
Cool. Okay, I have many other questions, but I want to take some from the public. I'm going to give you one first. Who in the public is actually doing, let's say, security right, meaning using a multi-sig of different providers, so having different hardware wallets of different brands that are required to be used to sign something. So that's probably the only thing you can consider quite safe, because you don't trust any specific provider. So yeah, just a very few of you compared to
1%.
Yeah, exactly. The 1% of the 99%. So yeah, there's still a lot of education and a lot of work to do. And yeah,
but it's not just education work to do. It's just super hard. Nobody's going to do that at scale.
Right,
this is the whole point.
I would disagree that it's super hard. If they already use hardware wallets, it's not that far from going.
So what's really cool though is you have 4 companies here on the stage, and because Bitcoin is this open protocol that has some very specific, amazing properties, all these hardware wallets can co-sign, right, each other. So you don't have to use a single vendor solution. And that's all that sort of a lot of us who are a little bit crankier and a little bit more tinfoil sort of advocate for, is that, I'm not saying just immediately take all your funds from Coinbase, stick it in your cold card, wearing a tinfoil hat in your basement, right? It's like, do that a month later, but, start with something. Get the coins out of the exchanges. Put a little bit of money on a phone wallet and start learning what a seed is. Then maybe get some of the products that we sell and try to play with them, get used to it, and then
I'll
keep
interrupt
on upgrading.
you. I want to take a question from the public. All right, I think we have a question there, right?
Yes, I was curious about the numbers of people that have enabled the Bluetooth function on the ledger.
Okay, so the question is the percentage of people who had like the Nano X with the Bluetooth, and basically you want to know what kind of percentage of people are actually using this feature, right? Okay.
So we actually don't know, because we don't track what you do with your device, so we wouldn't have that ability. But I assume it's a high number, because the Ledger Live mobile actually is increasing in terms of usage. So this seems to indicate that more and more people are connecting with Bluetooth to the mobile version of our wallet.
All right, and I can take one more question. There is one over there.
For Ledger.
Oh.
Do you have any plans on becoming a Bitcoin-only wallet, or are you going to go with a shitcoin wallet?
I don't think that's Ledger only, to be honest. But
we have plans to move away from shitcoins. So the short answer is no. We're gonna, yeah.
Boo this man!
Oh, okay. Oh man, you feel so strongly about this. Hey, he does Bitcoin only.
We
I'm
do
fine.
Bitcoin only.
There is a product for everyone in the market. I don't really understand why we're even having this argument, and even why you're booing. In the sense that he does a product that is Bitcoin only.
Yes.
Okay? He's in the market. I recommend that you work with him.
And it's funny because
I don't understand it. See, I gave you
When
another
people
customer.
want to do shitcoin, I know it's been a week.
It's been a week.
We've increased our funnel.
Every day we're together and we do this, and every day I'm sending him more customers. Boom, another one. There you go.
All right, we really have
You
to
owe me
go.
$5.
So thank you very much. And yeah, please a round of applause for the panelists.
Thank you, Miami, for the last 3 years in this amazing city. The whole world shut down, but Miami welcomed us with open arms. We want to show Bitcoin to the whole world. We are taking the conference on the road to set the stage for Bitcoin in a new city. Nashville. Bitcoin 2024 is coming to Nashville in Tennessee, a city that is known as a music and freedom city. Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville from July 25th to 27th.